If you're looking to take your night hunting to the next level, a thermal monocular is definitely a surefire way to increase your night hunting effectiveness. In this video, we're going to look at the new Blaze Hunter from ATN. It's a new thermal monocular available with and without an integrated laser rangefinder. We have the laser rangefinder, so we're going to be able to show you what this thermal monocular can do and also compare it to our Blaze Trick. Hey guys, Gavin here from UltimateReloader.com. That's right, we just got our Blaze Hunter LRF. This is the 635 sensor model that features 2.5 to 20x magnification. It has the integrated laser rangefinder. For night hunting, this is going to be the ultimate complement to our thermal scopes. And before I go any further, let's see what's in the box and what's included. Well, this is a really comprehensive setup. We've got the thermal monocular itself, and it's got the integrated laser rangefinder built into the body there. It's got a removable battery, which is something that I know all of you are interested in based on some feedback on what we had in our previous stories. It's got a second battery, right? And so the charger is going to allow us to charge both of the batteries simultaneously. Comes with the USB-C cable. Love that. And that means that we can hot swap the batteries out in the field and in just a minute be back up and running with a fresh charge. Put the other battery on a charger. My vehicle has a USB outlet that I could very easily use for that. So that's totally awesome. We've got this really nice hard case. Well, it's actually kind of a soft case, but it's really rigid. So that's where all of the primary components are going to live. Accessories bag, we've got the strap, printed materials. This is really looking like a really nice setup. Can't wait to put it to use, and that's what I'm going to do next, just kind of show you a quick overview of how this thing works and some of the recording that we're able to do internally on the unit. So I've been out in the field and also hunting with a friend using the Blaze Hunter for a variety of things. And now I feel better prepared to guide you through talking about the specs, the features, and also anecdotal comparisons to Blaze Trek, which we also have. This Blaze Hunter definitely brings things to the next level. But before we get into that, let's cover what models we have here from ATN. So this is the entire layout of Blaze Hunter products from ATN, and you'll notice that there's both regular models and LRF models. The LRF models are the ones that have the integrated laser rangefinder, and what we're using is the ATN Blaze Hunter 635 LRF, right? So it's a step up in price from Blaze Trek, but we get a couple key things that we don't have with Blaze Trek. Removable, rechargeable battery ×2. So if you have two of those charged, I can guarantee you're going to be able to hunt all night with this thing and not run out of juice. Now, if you're in your truck, you're driving down the road, plug in a USB-C cable, and it's going to charge that internal battery. So power-wise, this thing absolutely has you covered, but also, importantly, it's got the integrated laser rangefinder. There's a couple really important uses for that integrated laser rangefinder. One is weeding out any of the opportunities that might present themselves that are just out of range based on the gear that you have, the shooting position you'd be shooting from, and so on and so forth. And then the second is collaborative hunting. Okay, so let's get into this a little bit. This is the sort of control interface, and want to talk about the buttons and some of the different form factor features here. So the focus ring is going to be here on the front. Very easy to use, very smooth, and not too much rotational force, not too much torque required to do that. So a really good implementation there. And then we have the diopter control here on the back that's going to focus the inbuilt OLED screen that you're going to use for reference when you're using the device. We've got a USB-C port here. This is two function. First, it'll charge the internal battery. Well, I say internal, the removable battery that's inside the unit, right? And then the second function is if you turn on the unit while it's plugged into your computer, it's going to show up as a USB drive and you'll be able to browse those files. So that's super handy right there. We've got a 1/4-20 jack on the bottom so that this can be used with the tripod. We didn't use it with a tripod. If you want really, really good, clean, stable footage that you're going to record internally, you know, photos or video, then that would be recommended. Or if you want to leave it set up, pointed in a particular direction, so you can go back and forth between your rifle. So that's a pretty important feature to have there. The battery port is back here, right? So that's how we get battery out. The battery door, I guess would be a better term for that. Align the arrow with the unlock, twist it to the position where it's locked in, and we're good to go. So the removable battery, I know a lot of you have made mention of that with various optics that we've talked about, is definitely a great selling point. Okay, so in terms of the buttons, we've got the power button. The power button is going to be long hold for on or off. The up button on this model with LRF is going to short press, trigger the laser rangefinder, which by the way is instantaneous and works really, really good. A long press on the up button is going to start or stop video recording. Center button, this is the one that looks like a stop button on a VCR. That tells you how old I am. Center button, this is short press, cycle through color modes, and long press the main menu. I think ATN calls this the menu button. And then the down button, short press is going to cycle through various zoom levels. And then the long press will manually adjust the shutter. So very simple interface and something that you can feel in the dark, right? A lot of these details are super important to nail with regard to being able to use this with gloves on, being able to use it in the dark. The battery door has a tether on it so that you won't lose that. You know, we've got basically something that you can feel and tactile for all of the buttons. And there's these raised bars here that separate them so that as you move your finger back, you can kind of say, okay, that's power up, and then menu, and then down, that kind of thing. So a really nice industrial design on this. A little bit more about the integrated laser rangefinder. Those components are right here behind this shiny window here. On the models that are non-LRF, it's a matte finish there, and that's how you can quickly discern between the two. The advertised capabilities on this, 1,800 meters for picking up a highly reflective target, 1,500 meters for a moderately reflective target, and 600 meters for low reflectivity surfaces. I will note that you're going to get better performance out of a laser rangefinder if you do have it on a tripod, because it's going to hold more steady and it's going to pick up that bounced laser a little bit better. So again, integrated laser rangefinder gives you an instant mental picture of what's going on. It's really disorienting to be looking through a thermal of any type, whether it be a rifle scope or a monocular, because you don't have that natural reference that you do during daylight, where you can just sense how far things are away and the different spatial orientation of different things together. Having that laser rangefinder is super important. If you are team hunting, it allows you to call out a call. If someone doesn't have an integrated laser rangefinder in their scope and they have something like a mil-dot reticle in their thermal, they're going to be able to apply the appropriate holdover and boom, hopefully be successful. Let's talk about color modes. The color modes are really a matter of personal preference. I think they're all definitely workable. I shot some footage after driving my Bronco, so it was kind of heated on the front here. You can see that here with green hot. So anything that is hot is going to be lighter green. Anything that's cooler is going to be darker green all the way down to black. Sepia, same idea, natural tones. It's going to go from kind of a really white, tan-ish color for the highlights, and then all the way down to a dark brown and then into black for the cooler temperatures there. White hot, it definitely just gives you that contrast where there's heat. I actually like the black hot. It's almost like you've got a photorealistic rendering of a daytime scene in a surrealistic format. It looks a little bit more natural to my eye, so that's particularly interesting. Iron bow can really help to emphasize certain scenes better, it really is dependent. It's not a bad idea to cycle through all of the different color modes when you're in different environments to see which ones you prefer for a particular situation. But what I really ended up liking, I think I'm going to use for hunting from now on, is high red. So what you see here is it's a little bit like the white hot, but where there's higher temperatures, you've got red contrasting the monochrome grayscale image. And I think that does a particularly good job. If you're looking right now at some of the footage that I shot of the deer with the high red, it pretty much isolates the animal from the rest of the scenery. Now I did notice sometimes with trees and some other things I had going on that you'd get fringe red in other places. But overall, I think the high red is a super cool capability for hunting or for spotting animals in general. Okay, so I went coyote hunting with my friend Eric with this. We saw a couple coyotes. We had some pretty good footage and then saw some deer. But Eric ended up going with someone else when I wasn't available, and he got a ton of coyote footage on this thing. Multiple coyotes at one time. Coyotes that were close, coyotes that were far. We've spotted with ATN thermals coyotes out to about 800 yards easily, where you can see them move, you know, and that's just a really game-changing capability to have. So aside from the hunts, I also took some footage of vehicles. You can see my Bronco next to an Xterra that we have. Xterra had not been driven, Bronco had been driven, so you can definitely see the difference in heat signature there. I took a little bit of footage of my cat. This was interesting because that was up close, and that gives you a real good idea of what that 640 footage can look like. You know, it sounds low resolution in this day of 4K, 6K, and 8K cameras, but I'll tell you, 640 will get the job done for hunting. You can see this footage of my cat, the detail, the individual hairs, you know, the cat walking along the floor, and there's this heat signature where she stepped, you know, it's that sensitive. Thermal technology is just really, really interesting. But then I also went outside and got some footage of the deer in the orchard. And that was just a great opportunity to see some wildlife up a little bit closer, where I could take my time cycling through the color modes and looking at kind of what was going to work and what wasn't going to work. And I'll say the Blaze Hunter definitely has a step up in image quality compared to Blaze Track. Yes, it is definitely at a higher price point, but I think that price point is worth it, for me at least, because of the laser rangefinder, the removable battery, and a little bit more capability with the quality of the image and basically what you can do with it. The details that you can see, and that does matter when you get out to further distances. When you go up to 20 power, you can still see things. It's a bit of a digital zoom effect, so it's not going to amplify detail or anything like that, but it's going to definitely help you discern which animals are which, detect things, that sort of thing. And of course, the integrated video recording is super helpful when you want to have that capability to show your hunt to friends, or for us, of course, to publish it to you all. And I like having the internal memory. Not having to deal with micro SD cards is definitely, a big plus. Hook it up to the computer, whatever, and get that footage. Okay, so specs. Now that we've talked about using it and we've talked about the unit and kind of done a high-level comparison to Blaze Trek, there's a couple things here. This is just the specifications from the ATN website. You can go there and read all this fine print if you want to. The things that really stood out to me: the sensor. The sensor is definitely great quality. You can see the detail that I showed in some of the video footage that I captured. Magnification of 2.5 to 20 definitely gives you the ability to see the full scene or kind of zoom in on details. The 1440 by 1080 OLED display is really, really sharp. Adjustable brightness. There's a whole set of menus where you can fine tune a lot of these settings, right? And that's gonna help you fine tune the experience for you. The rechargeable, removable batteries, huge win. Plus it's got a dock where you can charge both of them simultaneously, which is just a really big plus. Battery life of 14 hours. We used it all night, and that definitely seems to track with the kind of battery life that we got in power consumption. And then the LRF range, it's advertised at 1,000 yards. We didn't really push it that far because while we were hunting at night, we didn't have anything this time or the time that Eric went out separately where that was necessary. But I think with a tripod, that's going to be definitely possible based on, you know, what we were seeing. And then a 3-year warranty, right? When you make an investment like this, you definitely want to make sure that you're covered. And a 3-year warranty is great for a piece of gear like this. So don't be surprised if you see this again on the channel with more of our night hunting action. So here's what I'd like to know is, what did you think of the footage I showed you from my Blaze Hunter? And if you were gonna buy a Blaze Hunter, which model would you choose and why? Have you been having some particular fun or particularly good luck doing a particular type of night hunting? Hogs, coyotes, who knows, whatever else. Join me down in that comments section and we'll have a discussion. Thank you very much for watching. That concludes this video, and that means it's time to wrap it up. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you're watching Ultimate Reloader on TV and want to take advantage of free resources, exclusives, and hot deals, just hold your camera phone up to the QR code, tap on the link, fill out the information, boom, you're getting Ultimate Reloader emails. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Also, we're on Facebook, YouTube, Rumble, where we've got unrestricted content, and Instagram. Make sure to follow us on all those channels. Ultimate Reloader also has a commercial solutions division serving law enforcement, the military, and the gun industry. We have some unique capabilities, including a comprehensive suite of recoil testing and evaluation capabilities, trigger profiling, and more. Thanks again for watching.